The Battlesmith is a subclass for the Artificer, a character class found in the Eberron Rising from the Last War sourcebook. Even though Artificers are only half casters, the spells that they have access to are fantastic. And we're going to go ahead and dive deep in this video. This is the Battlesmith spell guide. I'm your innkeeper, Vase Odin, and this is the Twisted Tentacle Tavern. Let's go ahead and chat about the Battlesmith spells. At 5th level, you also get level 2 spells. As a Battlesmith, you're always going to have Branding Smite and Warding Bond prepared. Branding Smite is one I think you're not going to use very often. It uses your concentration until you hit, which means it's competing with other concentration spells. And you have so many good ones. I just don't see anyone using this spell for any reason. Warding Bond is a good spell to ensure your other party members stay alive. If you're building a protector or healer type of Battlesmith, this is a cool spell to add to your repertoire for sure. At 11th level, when you get the spell storing item ability, this spell can be an awesome way to get resistance to damage and +1 to AC. Pretty awesome, and we'll talk more about that in the level 11 section of the Battlesmith guide. Aid. This is a very good spell that scales well with higher levels. If you're a frontline person, this can really boost your survivability, especially because it stacks with false life. That's pretty awesome. Not only that, but you can give 3 creatures bonus HP as well. So as a level 2 spell, you're adding 15 extra hit points to your party. That's pretty awesome. And then when you upcast it, it's an additional 15 every level that you upcast it to. So if you use a level 3 spell slot for it, you're adding 30 total hit points to your entire party. That's pretty awesome. I would definitely prepare the spell. Alter Self, this is a poor choice in most cases. I don't think I need to talk about it very much. Arcane Lock, it's mostly useful if you don't want to be uninterrupted during a rest while you search a room, or if you want to hide some treasure somewhere and lock it. I'd probably skip this if you're going to be using this to help you get uninterrupted rest, and I'd go with Rope Trick instead. Blur. Now this spell's a bit of a trap for Battlesmith. Normally I would say take this spell for sure, but since you have a Steel Defender who can impose disadvantage and you have other spells that want your concentration, I'd probably skip Blur. And you guys are going to crucify me in the comments, but these are my thoughts. Continual Flame. Another spell I'd probably skip. You can achieve most of what this does with a cantrip, so why? Dark Vision. Again, I'd skip this. Yes, it lasts 8 hours and doesn't require concentration. But if you really need Dark Vision, I'd rather use an infusion and get the goggles of Dark Vision than spend a 2nd level spell slot. Or better yet, use a cantrip and just cast Light or Dancing Lights. Enhance Ability, this is another one I'd skip. And I know I'm bashing every single one, but man, level 2 does not bring a tremendous amount of good ones. Overall, I think Battlesmith spells are great. Level 2 brings up a few bad ones that are probably traps. Enhance Ability, this one I'd skip, so it requires concentration, and the benefits aren't much better than what you can achieve with Guidance. And Guidance is a cantrip. Enlarge Reduce, very handy utility spell. I'd probably consider preparing this one. You can use it for many different things, going through smaller holes to get into another section of the dungeon, making someone bigger so they can cross a river. There's so many different uses for this spell. It's really good, and I would definitely consider it. Heat Metal. Now, this one is worth using your concentration for during a combat. If you take this, you're going to be doing some really good damage between this and your attacks. At higher levels, I'd replace this with something else, since it becomes less frequent to confront creatures with armor. But still, when you do, or a creature made of metal, this is going to be just a fantastic damage dealer. Invisibility. Like Enlarge Reduce, a good utility spell overall. I'd probably prepare this over Enlarge Reduce, or if I was forced to choose between the two, since it does have some combat applications in addition to out-of-combat utility. I probably wouldn't take both unless you're going for full utility with your build. If you're going for a full utility Battlesmith character, definitely take both, because they're both really good spells to have. Lesser Restoration, this is a good spell and one I would definitely keep handy. It's universally useful, that you're always going to have some kind of need for it definitely good. Levitate, this one's a great utility spell with both in and out of combat uses. You can levitate over certain things that you're trying to avoid on the ground, or you can use it to cast it on an enemy and take them out of the fight because they'll be levitating and they can't move around. It's a pretty awesome spell with multiple uses. Definitely one I'd consider preparing. Magic Mouth. This one's somewhat useful, but most of what this does you can get with your first level magical tinkering ability. If you have the extra preparation, you can cast this as a ritual, so at least you have that with it. Otherwise, I'd say, skip it. Magic Weapon. This one's a trap. Let's just call a spade a spade. Your infusions do a better job than this spell, and to top it off, it requires your concentration. Just a deal breaker completely. Protection from poison. This one's kind of situational. It's helpful if you need it. I'd say prepare it if you have a free slot or if you know you're going to be facing some poison. Otherwise, skip it. Pyrotechnics. This is a useful spell with many applications, and best of all, it doesn't take your concentration. Yay! It works well with Create Bonfire, so if you took that, I'd recommend taking this. Rope Trick. This one is the king of guaranteed short rest for early levels. Take this. If you have another party member with Rope Trick, if you have another party member with Rope Trick, go ahead and skip it. Let them cast Rope Trick. You prepare something else. Remember, you have more limited slots, more limited preparation slots than other casters. So there's no need for you to waste it on Rope Trick if another spellcaster is in the group. See Invisibly. I would probably skip this. Level 1 spells like Fairy Fire can do a similar thing, and even though it doesn't take concentration, it only lasts an hour. So you basically have to know that you're going to be facing invisible creatures beforehand. I don't know. I'd probably skip it. Skywrite. This is another very situational spell that probably wouldn't be worthwhile if it wasn't a ritual. I'd skip it unless you have nothing else to prepare. Spider Climb. This one's another one I'd probably skip. If you want to do something like this, take Levitate, and because you can use it in different applications, unlike Spider Climb. Or you can also do an infusion later on that gives you the same abilities. So why waste it? And I get it. You don't move as easily with Levitate, but you also don't need to have a wall near you in order to levitate. So, they both have their pluses and minuses, but I think Levitate has more universal uses. And Web. This one's a great control spell. I would definitely take this. If you took Grease, maybe I'd think twice. They're both really good. I think you can pass on this if you want to keep using Grease, or if you want to take Web, then replace your preparation of Grease and put something else in its place. You certainly don't need both. Grease doesn't require concentration, so there's that. And if you're going for full battlefield control, you can double, triple whammy people with Grease and Web. So it'd be kind of funny if you do, but you don't really need it. I also wanted to take a moment and remind you of the concentration requirement. A lot of level 2 spells for Artificer require concentration, so be careful. It's very tempting to prepare too many spells that require it. Don't do that. They're just going to sit there and you're not going to be able to use them. So pick one or two that you really like that are priorities for you, and then pick the rest as non-concentration spells. It might hurt to do that, but trust me, you're going to be much happier if you did that, because you won't have so many competing things for your concentration. You'll be able to do a lot more with your spells in combat. So, level 2 spells, what I'd recommend: Rope Trick, Heat Metal, and Aid. The ones that are definitely hell no's for me: Alter Self, Dark Vision, Enhance Ability, Magic Mouth, Magic Weapon, and Blur. I know. Blur is a good spell, yes. Battlesmith, probably not. So that does it. Hopefully you found this guide useful. I am your innkeeper, Vase Odin. This is the Twisted Tentacle Tavern. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and check out our Patreon page if you like our content. I'll talk to you guys real soon.